actually think that the key thing is how much you work it. You have to work just a minimum amount.
Yeah, you don't overwork it, otherwise it runs.
And so it's how small the butter gets worked into the.
And also how high you want to cook the pie. You bake a pie at about 450 degrees, 400 to 450 degrees.
You wanna, do you wanna do the introduction, John?
What?
We're at what day and everything?
Oh, so it's Christmas Eve in the year 2010, and we're all assembled to get a lesson on how to make a pie crust from the master.
Oh yeah, forget it.
And where are we? In
We're-
the master kitchen.
We're sifting the flour. We're getting
See,
the
that's
cold water ready.
That's something I do. I always do.
The ice water.
You can always cook it in milk too. Milk works well, cold. It adds a little more fat to it if you want that.
I always sift the flour because I put bay leaves in the flour so you never have a bug. That's
Okay.
true,
Bay leaves, yeah.
right?
It's true. Yes.
Huh?
Yes, it is.
Very true.
Absolutely. I'm gonna go take a shower. Later.
So you're making enough for one pie or two pies? Or
One, because
okay.
the pumpkin pie is deep and if I have two shallow pans, I can make one pie crust. But with pumpkin you can't because it's a deep pie. This is 2 cups of flour.
Now, is that a precise measure?
Yes.
You level the top?
Yeah.
Well, not only
you
that,
can
but
see it.
some people
Yeah.
do this. You can't do that. It makes a difference. If you do like this and get it, if you put it in and level it, you get less. Okay?
Did you put yours through the sifter, Brad?
No.
Me neither. I think that could be the first problem.
Okay. You look like this, but I don't measure salt.
You don't measure salt?
I just put it in my hand.
I do that too. It's like a teaspoon or so it's supposed to be? Or,
Probably.
yeah.
As much as you want.
Yeah.
Three-quarters cup of crust.
Notice the silence, the concentration.
Yeah, what is it?
You don't have any music you put on when you make pie crust?
There you got a television on.
So how old is that flour container that you have?
I just got a brand. Oh, this one is when we first got married. Potato chips used to get in there.
Yeah.
When I die, Ann wants it. I have sugar and flour in there. That's old.
Yeah.
Must be 50 years old. That's all it is.
Notice the students intently watching.
Eating the fruit drop cookie.
Well, they can make the blueberry maybe then, huh?
Well, that's the best thing, you learn by doing, so
Mhm.
we should each make another pie.
We're making blueberry later.
I'm not cutting it because I can cut it later. You know, with
Yeah.
this camera, every time you cut it, it's not like the tape where it just starts again. You
Yeah.
have a different ID number and a different, digital
You start and
piece.
stop.
So if you start and stop it too
You
much,
just
you end up
download
with
it and
like,
cut it up.
it's easier to do. I've decided it's easier to do it that way than to start and stop, during it. With the tape, it's you start and stop, it's fine. But with this, you end up with too many. You end up with like 20 fragments, and they get out of order. And so anyway,
So no butter in your pie crust?
No, I don't put any butter in it. I used to, but it gets tougher.
so now you're just mixing it with that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you have to get a
Blend it,
close-up
yeah.
of what it looks like.
Don't you have one of these?
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
But it's the size of and the sort of degree of mixing, I think is key here.
Oh, I don't know if it is
So you mix for about a minute. It seemed like
Yeah.
about that.
This is the tricky part. I mean, I never measured this. Maybe we should. It's 5 tablespoons anyway. That's not enough.
How could you tell it wasn't enough just by the texture?
Yeah, it doesn't form a ball like. You can feel it. It doesn't feel like it's gonna form a ball. I've never measured this, so I really don't know. If you can form it into a ball while you're done.
This is so much like filming lab videos.
Mhm.
I film videos of people doing experiments in my lab.
Yeah.
It's kind of similar, You ask them questions. Why are you doing it this way?
Well, it's the same thing. It's often the description is the same, but it's the knowing how it forms a ball is key. Because you put in too much.
Well, you
or
don't
too
want
little.
too wet,
Right.
but you don't want too dry either, because
Yeah.
if it'll all fall apart. So it's just a matter of, doing what you want to do. Now, if I was making a shallow pie, I'd cut this in half
Mhm.
and do it. But because I'm making a bigger one and deeper one, I'm gonna do a bigger one. Because it takes more dough.
Here it goes, Greg.
No, this is a key part too.
So you're already rolling it out, you don't put it in the fridge first?
Well, I can't do it when I put it in the fridge, it gets too hard. I don't like it. All the cooks on the television do, but I don't, because I don't know, I don't like it. My mother never did it, so I didn't do it. I guess, I don't know.
It's a good rolling pin.
She's got a great rolling pin.
It's huge.
Did you ever see my mother's spoon in the front room?
No.
Oh, we'll have to show you my mother's spoon.
Greg, notice how she keeps like a patting it together. She doesn't just do one roll out. That's often what I try to do.
What you're supposed to do is you're never supposed to roll it back and forth, but I don't know what that does. You know,
Uh-huh.
that's what they say. Sometimes.
You're supposed to go from the center out, right?
Yeah.
But how do you know how thick it should be?
It's just a guess. Well, you know that's not going to fit a pie crust, a pie shell. That's one way you do.
And see, when I do it half the time, it'll crackle on the edge.
Well, that's why you keep pushing that around, you know, when you're starting to roll it.
I think the key is that Blue Star potato chip can. The flour.
Step number 1, buy some Blue Star potato chips in
You never
the
could.
metal can.
You could never find one. You'd have to go to an antique shop.
Yeah. Actually, it's married with skill, but
You can feel it.
just sure.
You know.
You want to feel it? Greg, feel it. It actually feels very thin and light. You don't want it?
I'm gonna go test it out here. Let's see. It's pretty light. Okay. I got it. Now, one of the best purchases I've ever made in my life are those 2 saltine can tins that I have. I have one at home and one at the lab. That you can put saltines in them. They just fit the pack perfectly, and they're airtight, and they keep your saltines fresh.
Oh, that's why we bought those. I don't have anything that's not in plastic. In there. I put all my cereal in plastic, everything. Because one time we came home from Ann's and we seemed like a peanut butter something on a shelf, and we had ants. And that's why I bought all these and put them in.
Personally, I think the metal is better, but
Huh?
whatever.
Now, are you gonna? Do you put? Oh, you don't put shortening in the pie tin? No.
Do you do that?
Oh, I don't think so. I don't remember. I'm just asking. I mean, I haven't done it recently. I just do whatever a recipe calls for. If they say to do it, I do it. If not,
I don't think I've ever
I've
seen a
never
recipe
seen-
that calls
I've
for
never
it.
okay.
heard
No, I'm
that.
just asking because
Yeah, no, I never heard of that. Sometimes it's not perfect and you have to do little things, you know.
You don't roll it around the pin either, huh? Just
Nope.
go for it.
What do you mean roll it around the pin?
Oh, some people roll it around the
Traditional way to
pin
get it
and
into
then pick it up.
Oh,
But
I
I
fold it in half. You roll it up on the pin? Oh, really?
yeah,
Never
I've
did
seen that
You
done.
can do that.
Yeah.
I always just fold it in half.
Yeah,
I guess
me
I learned
too.
that from my mother.
Yes, I don't know.
Well, she makes it look easy, doesn't she, Larry?
Oh, I don't know. Sometimes it's not pretty, but it tastes good. That's all that's
Yeah.
important. Huh?
One of my favorite things growing up was the little pieces of crust. My mother would,
Sugar.
you know, the leftover,
Cinnamon?
put sugar and
Oh,
cinnamon
my
on
mother
and put
never
it-
wasted a thing.
Yeah, and put it in the oven.
Yeah.
And oh, those were good.
Mhm.
I would want her to, you know, put less on the pie and more on the. I'd say, what about? There's a piece, you know. You could, because I love that.
I need a sharp knife.
No, I made that for Lorraine when I was doing the Thanksgiving pies, and she was enthusiastic. She ate them up before going off to the gym.
Might not be beautiful, but it might taste good. That's the most important. Okay?
So that's it. So now you'll just, you don't pre-bake it or anything. You're just going to put the filling in.
Uh-huh.
This is going to be what? What kind of
Pumpkin.
pumpkin? Okay. And then just bake it according to the way you would normally bake a pumpkin pie. Yeah.
400 or 450 for, for 10 or 15 minutes, and then you turn it down so that it just don't get burned.
Right. Because
You know?
didn't you say you were pre-baking the pie crust? The recipe
That's
called
what
for
they
that.
do.
Yeah.
That's what they
Some
say.
people do.
I wonder if the 450 though, putting in a really hot oven.
Well, that's what I
Good
was
idea.
wondering too, because when I did that rhubarb pie and I put it in the lower oven, that burner is right on the bottom of the thing, and that's why. But I don't know if you could put pumpkin in there and not spill it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That'd be hard to do. Yeah.
I don't know if you could or not. We could try it.
So now you're just getting ready to make the filling?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
trying to get the pie.
All right, so I'm going to stop
Okay.
the instructional video now. So, well, we want to thank you, Mary Lou, for demonstrating your prowess your skills at making
Well, we'll see tonight.
pie
when we eat
crust.
it.
Right. Well, I'll take a picture of it at the end too. So,
And we'd like your formal permission to put this on YouTube.
Oh, you will not. You will not.